Avrami, we appreciate your support.
Pleasure.
Is it still recording?
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you made me the host.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay, so Stamazai, so we promised we're going to discuss this a little further since the daf is 3 lines today. So, but so there is the reason why the reason why the Ran says, why is it making a difference between making hefker in front of 3 people or making it hefker in front of 2 people? So we're saying that the pshat is because Rabbi Yosi says that when you make it hefker in front of 3 people, so then it's a legitimate hefker, and somebody does not have to be koined on their behalf, right? Meaning he only says it when he does it in front of 2. So why? Because it's av shamilsa. Since he did it so much in front of the public, so therefore that's an irreversible hefker, right? So guys, go out, please, guys. A lot of kids here. Nothing at the baby Baruch Hashem. So we got a lot of kids here. Yeah. Anyway. So he said it's optional.
Right? In the hospital, right?
No, he's in the hospital, yeah.
That's what I heard.
So anyway, so it says, so the pshat is with av shamilsa. So exactly what I mean, let's say a guy announces it on Zoom or WhatsApp that he made something hefker. Is that av shamilsa according to Rabbi Yosi? Or is it dafka neder? Does it dafka neder bezdin, meaning 3 legitimate yin? I was discussing this Gershon last night after the daf. What happens because it says 2 are Adim and one is the guy that can whatever. One is just the guy, and then there's 2 Adim. What happens if they're pasal Edus? So does that work? Meaning is it dafka is a lav dafka, right? So of course I realized this morning a guy asked me a shaila about av shamil. So WhatsApp yesterday, he said that a guy put an unflattering picture of himself on his WhatsApp status. Is that called av shemilsa enough that it's not lashon hara for this guy to share it with other people? Right?
What is the guy trying to be a mental patient like all the people we've met so far in the Durham?
maybe. I don't know. I just wonder if the av shemilsa is dafka or lav dafka. Right? Then there was another thing we were discussing with the mechiras chametz. This is really for Naftali Line or more. So the Magen Avram brings, and the Mishna brings this. If I sell my chametz to somebody, right? Let's say I have a huge schnapps collection, and my friend knows I have a schnapps collection. So after Pesach, he goes to my friend, right? He goes to the guy and says, by the way, instead of selling back the schnapps collection to the guy who owns it, sell it to me, right? Why not? If it's a legitimate mechira, so anybody can go over to the guy and say, I want it. No.
Don't you sell it with first rights to buy it back?
If it's a legitimate sale, it's a legitimate sale, right?
Yeah, but I could sell you something legitimately with first rights to buy back.
Correct, but you frozen? Are you good? Am I good? Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
So that's what they want to bring a raya from this Gemara. The Magen Avram says you can't do it because he only had his das to sell it to this specific guy to buy it back from the guy. It's hard to understand. Meaning from our Gemara, we're seeing that there is such a thing as making something hefker for some people and not hefker for others. Right? Meaning it's like this quasi hefker. It's like it's a quasi hefker type thing. Right? Meaning, according to Rabbi Yosi, right? If you only mafker in front of 2 people, So we're saying, oh, that's not a legitimate hefker, right? That means he can be chayzer on that hefker if somebody else takes it from him, right? He could be, until somebody else takes it from him. Why don't I say you made it hefker, you didn't make it hefker? Is it meaning there's such a thing as you could control the hefker, right? It's a whole sugya, but that's what from the Gemara's mashma that there is something about controlling hefker. You can make something hefker for some and not for others, right? Okay, whatever it is. On that note, so we didn't say the hadran. So hadran aloch, what is it? Hold on, I don't have the top open. Hadran aloch ein ben amud. Yeah, fine. Okay, so now let's start the next Perek. So now this Perek, the beginning, l'chaim. Yeah, l'chaim Peretz, wherever and whenever you are. So now the next Perek, if you see this massive run, so this is because it gets into what we call.
He's probably fearing a massive fish. The cover is getting to his head over there with the.
I'm sure.
The big
sure he is.
And something over here, you know, he's all over that.
Yeah. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem.
Yeah, it's good for him.
So anyway, so
Aaron, a tzaddik in New York is not necessarily a tzaddik in Yerushalayim. Okay.
Baron, I'll share with you after Shabbos what I'm referring to. You'll appreciate it.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, but anyway, so with this whole Perek, not the whole Perek, with the beginning of it, the whole Perek is 3 blocks. We got another l'chaim coming soon. So in the beginning here, it has to do with yesh breira or ein breira. So basically, what yesh breira means, I know for Perek, this is for Perek also. Ein breira means my wife said ein breira. That's the way we use it, right? Which means there's no choice. That's what the wife wants. Right, but that's not really what it is. Basically, when you have something that's meant to be split, so and it wasn't split yet, do you say that retroactively it's considered split? Right? Meaning, and we know when each one has a part. What's the negeya? So this Perek, so Hashutfin should not run no zemizeh. So you have 2 partners, and they do whatever most normal partners do, which is they ended up fighting. Right, and they made a neder that they're not going to get hana from each other. So Asura and them, they own a property, they own a real estate property, and they both made a neder that they're not getting hana from each other. So then Asura and Likonis l'chatzar, they're both, according to the Tanakama, they're both Asur to go into the chatzar. Why? Because each, let's call it chatzar, with each fraction of an inch of property is owned by both. So how can I go into the property if I made a neder that I'm not going there? And how could he do it because he made a neder against me? So therefore they're both out, right? Because the Chachamim are not going with breira. But Rebbe Elazar ben Yaakov, this one could go into his, and this one could go into his chelek. Meaning, right now they don't have it split, right? When 2 partners buy a building, do they say that you get the left half, you get the right half? Right? Or I'm going to take it for the first year, you're going to take it for the second year. If it's wise, they would say that, but from the outset. But if they didn't, so now how do we look at the split? Do we look at this half and half, or do we say each thing is owned jointly by both of them? So Chacham is saying that we look at each thing jointly until they come up with an agreement, and therefore you're neither one of them is allowed to go in. Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov says no. We look, even though right now it's not split, but eventually it will be split. And when it's split, we're going to say retroactively it was split from now. And therefore, this one's allowed to go into half and this one's allowed to go into half. How you split the half, I'm not exactly sure. Right? But then on Amud Aleph now, see that we finished the Amud. Ushneim asurim lahamid rechaim v'tanu legalu tanagonim. But they're both asur to put a mill in there, or an oven, or tanagal, meaning this whole Machlokes is about whether they're allowed to go into the property. To use the property like that even Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov agrees that that's not allowed. Right? Because we don't know if their agreement made it that's what they're going to do. Yeah? Meaning we don't know if that's, did they really agree that each one should do this and this? So anyway, so that's, yeah. Okay, we'll stop over there. Short, sweet, and to the point.
Have a good Shabbos. Thank you.
Yeah, anyways, all right. Have a good Shabbos.